Hey guys,
going on?
I know we have been gone for so
Way
long.
too long.
Look, it has been way too long, but we're back. I have to get some things together. I have a ebook coming out, an e-cookbook coming out, so stay tuned for that. It's coming out very shortly. I mean, well, hopefully when this video drops, it's out. So go cop that. It should be in my bio. Alright, so let's get into the video. By the title, you guys see. Today we are talking millennial marriage. George and I, we got married at what, 22, 23?
Yeah.
I was 22, you was 23. We were young and trying to figure it out. We knew we were in love, but obviously we didn't know everything. 8 years later, no, 5 years of marriage later. 8 years we've been together, and so we're talking about expectations versus reality. You know, you see on social media, everybody like, you know, the memes, expectation versus reality, what it really is. That happens in marriage too, especially like the unconscious expectations. So I guess we'll just jump right into it and just talk about and get real and talk about what marriage really is, like the reality of what it is, especially being young, especially like trying to like figure it out, and just navigating that. So
I would say one of my expectations that I had was just
was it like an unconscious expectation, or was it like something in your mind like you wanted?
I think it might be something in my mind, because I feel like that as a man or as a husband, that we might want to be treated a certain way, but it's just like, it's not like in the movies, like, oh, I sit home, go home from work, I get the big chicken, and dinner is ready for you, and you ain't gotta do nothing but work. That's what you see in the movies, and that's what they practiced back in the day. But not saying that, you know, I didn't like obviously you don't have to do them things, but just thinking like that can be a thing, or just I guess your wife being more obedient. But I'm not saying that my wife is not obedient.
Yes, you are. Let's keep it real.
It's just not the obedient you see on TV.
Okay, so your expectation was to have that TV wife, like Mr. Huxtable and his wife. You know, he comes home and he gets to put his feet up, and he gets dinner, like he gets treated like a king. All right, and then versus reality, what's the reality of the situation?
You can't do all that. You definitely. It's not about you can't do all that, but it's just obviously everybody's different. So, you know, you get, you know, the normal pampered, you know, come home, you know, get dinner, obviously. Well, for me, but you know.
Do you feel like you would like me to be a little bit more catering to you when you come home? Like, is that a thing?
Of course, I feel like I'm not gonna say no. Of course, anybody will like more loving, but you know, things happen. You gotta do things around the house or whatever the case would be. So, you know, it's not like it's on TV. You gotta, you know, things you gotta do.
I have another question. Okay, so because I don't know if you guys know, I am a stay-at-home wife now, entrepreneur. When I did work a 9 to 5, was that an expectation then, or is it an expectation now that you know that I'm home? Like, I want to know, like, if that changed. Like, did you like think to yourself when we did, you know, when we were like together, whatever, you didn't really expect that much, but then now that I'm home all day, you're like, when I come home, I should have everything?
Well, like I was saying, like, you know, you gotta do things. So we both working. I felt like well, when we was both working, I don't think, obviously always something that you want, but I don't think that you already think about it too much. Well, I thought about it too much, because, you know, we're working, busy, whatever case. I know you're tired, I'm tired, so it's just like, you know, can't do it all the time. But I get it. Yeah, I could see more being now, because you stay at home. But you know, even though you're home though, you still have like, you know, working on the business and stuff. So
yeah,
not always downtime.
I could admit though that I feel like when I got more into like handling the business, I didn't like, in a sense, if we're talking catering, I guess I didn't cater as much, because I remember they used to come home and like always have food, right? And then now it's just like, oh, are we gonna pick up McDonald's, or are we gonna pick up whatever? So I remember even when I was working that we actually did, I think I was more of a wife, or in the beginning, I don't know if that makes sense. Well, not more of a wife, but more of a caterer to you and to your needs and stuff like that. But I feel like now that I've been home and like trying to figure out myself and like my individuality and the business and things like that, I guess you get the short end of the stick in a sense. So I guess that's an eye-opener.
But I would say though, while thinking that, from what I originally said, you also have to be at that, you also have to be in the right position to receive that that catering, to receive that type of love. And meaning as a guy, you know, we got to do our part. And you know, showing you love and the things that might need to be done around the house. I
think basically what you're trying to say is that we both have to be intentional.
Right.
So
yes.
I have to be intentional in catering, or being aware that I'm not catering to you the way you want me to, and you have to be, I guess, intentional in reciprocating it, or even expressing how you want me to. Yeah. Because I didn't really know that, but that's good. Okay, so my expectation versus reality. I love the movies, just like George. I love the movies, I love the romance, and when I was growing up, all you see is like perfect marriage. They never show you, they show you until they get married, and then the movie stops. They never show you what marriage actually looks like and how hard it actually is. So George and I feel like when we first met, not like this is dating, when we first met, it was, we had like, you know, obviously clashes and attitude, culture shock, because, you know, I'm Caribbean American, he's American, Puerto Rican, but more American than anything. And and there was a big culture shock there, especially where we lived and everything. We had different attitudes. Excuse me, we had different attitudes, we had different ways of being completely, but we knew we liked each other. So it was just like, oh, we're gonna make it work. So we went through like, you know, some crazy things that we'll probably talk about like another story time. Like the first time like I hit him. Right? I'm not happy about that. I'm not proud of that. But yeah, it's just like we went through some things and we were young. So basically after that, we were perfect. In my eyes, we were perfect. I'm just like, we get along so well. I guess what you call it, the romance, everything was fire. Like everything was popping. Like I felt
always like that.
Yeah, but I just felt like everything was perfect. So I went into marriage thinking that it's gonna be a breeze for us. Like we got this. Like even comparing ourselves like to other couples, I was just like people go through these things, we're not gonna go through these things because we're good. And the thing is, and the thing is, like, we're like homies first. Like that's like my best friend. So I'm just like, we're gonna be able to like navigate this and really like rock this out. And then the fact that we both went in marriage so young, like it seemed like we was on the same page with everything. Child, listen. Reality check. Like what I'm telling you, God checked me hard. And literally, what was it? Not even as soon as we moved in together. I feel like it was a little okay. But then we started dealing with like some real stuff, like not even like, I wouldn't even say like gender roles so much. I know like submission was a thing, because what we valued a lot was our spiritual roles that we had for each other, because we did take marriage counseling and everything like that. So it was just like, like he said, disobedient or whatever. I'm not a very submissive person in general to anyone, right? So that was a thing for us. We had to get through that. He had to, I had to understand what making him feeling like a man, because that was like a big argument we always had, like, yo, I'm a man, and you know, like, you're not even talking to me like a man, or da-da-da-da like a man, or whatever. Yeah. So we had to like go through a lot of that, and I'm like, what you talking about? I'm a strong black woman, so I don't give a damn, you know? Like, that was just my thing, because that's how I was raised. I was raised by a strong black woman. That's all I knew how to be, and there was no man in the home to say like, this is what, or like for my mom to like be an example of like submitting to a man. Like that's never what it was. So I didn't know what it was. I'm just like, it was like my way or the highway, and when you have your opinion kind of thing, it's just like, I still think my way is better. I mean, to this day I still think sometimes my way is better, but there had to be a thing, like even like with our finances, I had to release. I was very I held on to like my money, like that was a thing, because I was always in control of me. And so when everything joined together, like for real joined together, and I realized that I was still being that control freak, and you weren't feeling like the head or the man in a sense, I realized that that was like a thing for us, and I had to like release. That was like one of the problems, that it was actually, it's bigger than like I'm talking about it now, but it was bigger than that. Like what else? I didn't think that we would go through issues concerning like you know, there's like deep rooted issues like with like mental health and things, and like trauma, like how past trauma comes into your today. Like, you know, it's just like, yeah, we both have past trauma that has been projected into our relationship hard.
Right. You don't even know what's happening.
And you don't know what's happening. Like there are times where it was just like, I'm gonna call it quits because you can't be this way. I didn't need you this way. But then it's just like, when we actually got to the point of sitting down and talking, like, yo, what's the root of this? Like, for real, I'm glad I took psychology. But like, when we really got to like the root of like certain situations, it's just like, here comes generational curses. That's a thing. That's a real thing. Like, I don't know, my world got flipped upside down, and realizing certain things about myself, realizing certain things about him, made marriage 10 times as hard. And that's literally just like a peek into like some of the drama we had to go through. We went through like loss, we went through almost wanted to get divorced, we went through like really big arguments. I wanted to burn the house down. Like, I didn't think, guys, I did not think, like, if you asked Ayana in 2014 what marriage was gonna be like, it's a breeze. It's a breeze, big fella. Like, it's gonna be a breeze. And now it's work. Like, it's good work, yeah, if you want to look at it in that perspective. But it's work. It's real work, and it gets real deep real quick. But I, in a sense, that was the expectation versus the reality of the situation. Like, we're working now, like today, like, you know, and then we're working for the future. Everything that, like, right now we're purposely trying to sow better seeds, yeah, so that when we have kids and when we are just a little bit more mature in certain things, that we can reap the benefits of those good seeds, because we sowed bad seeds or toxic seeds, right, in the beginning, yeah, and that started to show up a lot. So that was one of mine.
That was a long one. No, but just to like piggyback off what you said, not knowing how much patience you gotta have, because when you in a relationship, it's just like, oh, whatever, you know, I'm just talking to that girl, but you know, I don't want to talk to her no more, I just don't talk to her no more. But
there's no escape.
Right, so now when you're married, you know, it's just like, oh man, what I'm gonna do? I can't just like not come home unless you want to argue, but it's like, I just cannot come home. I just cannot call her. I just cannot. It's like, you gotta do something. You have to do something, because then it's gonna be a bigger issue, and then your marriage is gonna
be on the rocks.
So it's just like between having patience, and that's when you realize how much praying you have to do, because you might not know the answer, but divorce is not an option, and you might not have nobody to talk to. So you pray to God that He'll help you through the situation, help your wife understand, help you understand, whatever the case may be, and just have patience.
Yo, marriage is not for the weak. I'm gonna tell y'all that now. It is not for the weary heart. It is not for the weak. Like, this thing called marriage, this journey, would make you one of the strongest people in this planet. Because I'm telling you, it is like, when you realize that, like, you cannot, in a marriage, you cannot do life alone. Obviously, if you're alone, you're doing life alone. But you can't do it on your own in marriage. It's literally, we're one. We're partners. We are teammates. And that was also like a big thing for me. Like, I think all of my things where it was expectation versus reality came from me being this strong Black woman into having to share, to submit, to compromise. I have compromised things that I would have swore I would never. Like, let's be real. Like, there are things where it was just like, I would never do that. Like, ever. Like, what woman would do that? And I have been at the crossroads of being that woman that had to compromise things that I have never thought that I would have to. And I'm just like, Lord, your grace is sufficient for me. Like, it's just crazy, guys. But what else was there? Some expectations that we had versus the reality of the situation. Sex. I know that's the way, like, in the back of your head. It's like you're thinking sex. Go ahead, talk about it. Expose.
I just feel like, which is weird, because I always think about it. If you meet somebody, whatever, and y'all together for whatever amount of time, and y'all having sex and spicy, and y'all doing it all the time, this, that, and third. All right, and then you meet the Lord, and then you stop having sex.
You meet the person, then you meet the Lord.
and then you feel like, nah, we can't do this. You know the conversation. Mm-hmm. And then
hold on, pause. Backstory. So when George and I met, we did have sex before marriage, and then a year and change, almost 2 years, before we actually got married, we decided that we were not going to have sex anymore, and we're going to spend the next year and a half just getting to know each other mentally and spiritually. So that's what we did. So that's what he meant by we met each other. We was doing the do. So then we met the Lord and stopped doing the do.
What do you mean? We meet and we stopped listening to him?
Yes, we became a little bit more serious with our faith. Yeah.
Alright, so alright, so then you get married, and then boom, it might sex not as spicy or not as frequent as as before. But I guess, what it is, probably what in our heads is like, alright, we have to do different things. Like, we have to worry about different things now, bills and how we gonna pay this or whatever. Everybody's situation is different. But now when you marry, you come together, and now you gotta worry about things a little more. You start worrying about.
I'll be the first to say, sex is more exciting without responsibility. Okay, I don't know if there's any.
Everybody, I don't know feelings. They want to do things like,
I don't know if there's any other women. Look in the comments below. If you feel me, you feel me. But sex is great without responsibility.
But look.
Once responsibility came into play, okay,
women. Nothing to do with sex though.
No,
that's separate situation.
Sex is also connected to our mind. Right? Most women I know. It's not just this thing. We don't have just like a penis hanging like detached from us that just does what it wants, right? Everything is in it, right? So this is us, right? It's mental. So when it was just I'm seeing you, you're seeing me, no bills, no nothing. We are together and we get hot, and that's what we do. There's nothing to think about but each other, right? Now that we're married, we have bills, we still have work, we have a home to clean and maintain, and then still trying to prioritize us. And it's just like, and also dealing with newfound issues between each other that we didn't know were there when we didn't have responsibility and when we didn't live together. And so now all of that is in my mind. And my first thing is not having sex with you. It's not.
You said I do. You say yes every night. That's it. Enough said.
Look, sex is not always and I think that was also a thing for me too. I think like even though I am the one controlling the fact that we don't have sex as often because it's very much connected to my emotions, I also expected sex to be like rabbits when we got married, only because it's just like we now have our own place. And
oh yeah, so like things was delayed.
Right, I'm thinking that it was just gonna be like bow chicka wow wow every night, 5-10 times a day. Like when we were dating or something, and it didn't take a 360, maybe a 180. Right? It didn't take that much of a turn, but it was more like, I don't know, us being alone together just gave us more time just to be together, and that wasn't more of like a priority for me. That's when I realized my love language wasn't like physical touch or anything. Quality time and acts of service, like that was my thing. And then that's when you learned that you knew your love language was physical touch. But it's just like, and that in itself, that was also the expectation. I thought we were gonna be bunny rabbits, and then life hit
so much. Because back in the day, if you was gonna figure out where you gonna get it. It didn't matter. Oh, if you got 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and then you get married, it's all this.
I still feel like we do that. I feel like we do like the we gonna get it in certain situations.
No, I'm just saying like, because obviously it's seasons. So you get married, you whatever have happened in between rough patches and whatever whatever situations, so. But it is normal, but it's just life. But I feel like it happens. That's what it is, But somebody might have a different experience, but I feel like for the most part.
But I feel like that's another thing, right? So we have the expectation of sex being this frequent thing. Then it turned out that it's not a frequent thing, and then it takes us to be aware enough to say, hey, we gotta kind of like not even get back, find a new norm, right? Because I feel like a lot of things that used to hold me back is just like, this is not what it used to be, right? I know somebody could relate to that. This is not what it used to be. You're not like what you used to be. But the reality of the situation is we're not even in the same place we were. So why would we be like what we were like 8 years ago?
Yeah, not having those responsibilities.
Yeah, it's just
not
like
have to worry about rent and bills.
So it's just like me expecting us to be, or expecting you to be the same man that you were 8 years ago. It's like, it's kind of like dumb on my part, because it's just like 8 years passed. There had to be some type of change. So am I still expecting something that's the past? I have to now, or we have to now create new norms, right? So it's just like, all right, we know that this is what life is now, right? Responsibilities, me being an entrepreneur, you still working, you transitioning into an entrepreneur. We have work days that are like 15 hours or like 3 days at a time, and then we're off, whatever. How do we navigate that and be like, okay, prioritize sex because sex is very important. Prioritize I guess like marriage talks, and like, hey, like, are you okay, and our mental health and things, and am I catering to you? Am I doing the things that you need me to do? Because there's 24 hours in a day. I feel like, especially when it comes to marriage, we shouldn't be in a place where we're just like, we don't have time.
Right.
because I feel like that's when you get into that place, I feel like now we're not a priority. And before the business and before money and all of that, I feel like it has to be us. Because then there won't be no business. Like, if Lovebirds is our brand.
Right. That'll work on us.
Right. So, that's good. I feel like this was a good conversation. I feel like this was a little therapy session for us too. Cause I'm telling you, like, I learned some things. Like, there's some things that I didn't know, and it's just like now being completely aware of that, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you guys have any ideas or you want a part 2 of this video, just let us know. Comment, like.
And we're trying to narrow down our topics to millennial marriage, navigating that, what it's like. Yeah. Because I know that we're going through things that you're probably going through, or you have questions about the fact that we got married so young and we had to figure it out in a sense by ourselves and all of that. We
want to help.
We want to help, and we want to heal too and grow too. Like, this was literally like a good session. Like I was saying, we had a good talk just now. I really liked it. But yeah, so like, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Share this video with your friends. If you are getting married, if you're young and getting married, let us know so we can congratulate you. But let us know, and then we can answer questions for you that you may have about, you know, entering this world of marriage. That's just so, it's literally the unknown. Like, there's nothing you know or anyone can know about marriage. Everybody's experiencing marriage for the first time. There's like nothing that, yo, it's hard out here for a player. We'll see you next time, guys. We love you. Bye.